Greetings and salutations, everybody. It's Dave Duford here from Duford Insurance Group, where I train and recruit agents nationally to become top producing insurance professionals, selling final expense and Medicare face-to-face and over the phone. You're on a special edition of the Duford Insurance Group show, where I take your questions live on the air. It is February 24th, 2021, 5:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you, all of you, for jumping on the show and being here to have questions answered. This show is perfect for you if you are a new or aspiring insurance agent and you want to learn more about selling insurance and you got lots of questions, kind of don't know where to turn. It can be about anything at all, such as selling insurance successfully, thinking about which type of agency to join, which type of product to sell, commissions, etc. Doesn't matter to me. This is kind of an ask me anything about insurance sales type of show. And my job is to answer those questions. Glad you guys are here. Hey, Michael, what's going on? Long time no see. I see you guys, local realist Kevin Reed. I'm in Chattanooga too. How you doing, man? Gary and Penelope. Lagging bad. It'll get better here soon. So thank you guys so much for being here. Glad to see you. So a couple of things first to get started here. If you've got questions, a great opportunity now is just load up the chat with your questions. And then what I'm going to do after I do my little intro here is get to your questions. And again, just load them up in the chat and I'll get to them. So a couple of things here just to keep you guys abreast of what's new, what's cooking over here in the Duford Insurance Group land. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of my promos on the new television lead program that we got. We're super excited about this. We've had great results. We did that interview the other day. Some of you guys have seen, and probably some other content too. So this is a new lead program that we're offering in my agency. Just to give you a little details on this if you haven't heard about this, in January, a full 25% and 23.8% of the leads that were transferred to our agents closed. So 1 out of 4 of these live transfer leads where people call you, you don't call them, closed with an average case size of $1,070 annual premium. That's really good. So the acquisition cost is about $240, and the probably roughly average commission, taking into account things like, guaranteed issue, a little lower comp there, higher comp and level coverage, probably about $1,000, but good return on investment of 4 to 1, which is fantastic for any kind of final expense sales business. If you're looking for a telesales agency to call home, you want to learn more about how these leads work, I'm happy to share with you more. Just simply go to davidduford.com/contact. I'll send you some information how it works. But and then also, if you didn't check out the interview with Michael and Bill, my 2 producers who did very well using these leads, we talked to them a couple weeks ago, last week I think, and you can watch that video. Just put Final Expense TV leads into YouTube, and you'll learn more. Hey everybody, say everybody jumping in here. How you doing, guys? Bob, Set Free Ministries, how you doing? Randy, how you guys doing? Kevin, nice to speak with you. All right, guys. So, of course, today is a special segment. I've just noticed, all of a sudden, I start getting these hate comments. I don't know where they come from. Literally within the last, month and a half, I've got this full pages of comments on my website, on my YouTube channel. Where's all this hate come from? I mean, how can you hate me? I'm such a nice guy. I'm El Jefe after all. Everybody should love me, right? So what I'm going to do today, in a little attempt to be fun and get a little laugh at the expense of myself, I'm going to share with you some comments from the haters. So let's go ahead and start from the top and kind of talk about some of these comments that I've been getting. These are incredibly funny. So this comment, I'll leave the names of our commenters private, since I'm not totally a horrible person. I'll keep this anonymous. But if you look long enough on my articles on my website or my YouTube channel, you'll see plenty of these sprinkled here and sprinkled there. So this one is from my Primerica review. I do review articles on my website. Did one about Primerica about 6 to 8 months ago. I thought was fair. It wasn't insulting, trying not to be. I was just trying to, talk the truth about what you might run into if you decide to join a Primerica team. And here is a comment from one of the people. Dear Dave, it's unprofessional and pathetic how you try to trash Primerica, but you've never worked for them. You make a lot of wild assumptions, and when you do, you make an ass out of yourself. Just sell your services. My comments, don't talk about Primerica. And act like a grown-up professional, because you never look competent trying to make someone else look bad. So by this standard, let's see. If you've never worked in politics, you can't have an opinion about politicians, right? I can't have an opinion about, pretty much anything because I haven't firsthand experienced it, right? It doesn't really make a lot of sense, to be honest with you. I get a lot of these kind of comments on these kind of review pages that I do because people get upset that I talk about things that they don't want to necessarily talk about. And look, Primerica is a legitimate company. They do good work for some of their prospects, a lot of their prospects. But hey, are they the best organization for you to join out there? I don't know. So I like to talk about maybe some of the things as a new agent you should be concerned with. And actually, it's kind of funny. I would think that anybody anywhere in any agency would want to do the same. Why spend, all your valuable time as a recruiter with any organization trying to force somebody into your business who isn't really a good fit for it? You're going to have a lot of problems. It just doesn't make any sense. So I would want to know up front the good and the bad of what it is that I'm about to do as an agent. And as a recruiter, I'd want them to know that too. But it appears that some people just think, hey, there's only good with an organization. And dare you ever think about whispering or saying that there might not be the best thing possible for an agent? Oh, you're pathetic and unprofessional. I lost so much sleep over that comment. Here's the next one. This is on my insurance multi-level marketing video. Funny how there's kind of this connection with the type of organizations here. This guy said, I don't know what to think of this to bash another organization. I don't think anyone would call anyone an ignorant salesperson to be positive and be a real leader. Real leaders bring up people and encourage others to work hard and sell. I despise this YouTube because David tries to bring others' organizations down so he looks good and criticizes others. Negative people like you, I lost all respect for. I'm just negative. It's a negative thing to share with agents the fine print of joining an organization. It's negative for me to prepare you for what you may run into, which may or may not be the best choice for your career. You know that most agents do fail this career, right? And a lot of the reasons why, in fact, the number one reason why, as a survey I did last year discovered, the number one reason people quit is because they find the wrong agency. What they were promised wasn't actually delivered. It's kind of funny how that works, isn't it? But I am not a real leader because I show them the truth. Banker's Life Review. Stop lying to people. You're literally ruining lives by trying to get people to throw their career away for a scam, the scam of being an independent agent, offering multiple carriers and getting your clients better coverage with better underwriting. It's a scam. Turn my YouTube channel off. Right now, you've just discovered it's a scam. You selfish piece of shit. This is on our Facebook, $3 and $4 leads. Both are assholes to the nth degree. Oh, fake, fake, fake. Only 20% works, so you lose 80 cents of every dollar they got from unsuspecting people. This one is on, let's see here. This is on one of my comments today. You are the flakiest of the shameful flakes. You're a lying badass. Now, this is actually a comment. I'm a lying badass. I don't like the lying part, but I'm a badass. Finally, somebody notices. Get lost, please. I can't tell if this is a hate comment. Wow, you give advice to people? Good for you, man. This just shows how many people fail. I don't know if that was a compliment or bad. It sounds pretty bad. God bless everyone. That's how he completed. So I don't know about that one. So I've saved the funny ones for last, or the worst ones. These I'm about to tell you, these really hurt me like the worst. Okay, like this stuff kept me up at night. I lost sleep. I had to come to Jesus about what I wanted to do in my life. It made me really think, is this what I want in my life? I mean, this was just the worst. This hate mail comes from some agent on an email. She says, you might need to come to PHP. And the last one, this is the worst. This is the worst, guys. This is the worst. If you really want to leave hate comments, rub the salt in the wound on this one. How much can an insurance agent make? The commenter says, 10-minute video just to say a number. Here it comes. You are a terrible old agent. Old. That's the worst. That out of all of that, calling me old. Shit, man. Well, comments from the haters. Now let's take the comments from the lovers in the audience. I'm sure there's no haters in the audience. I haven't had a chance to look at the chat. Hope you guys doing well. I'm going to scroll on up here and start to take your questions. So load them up in the chat. And I'll do what I can to help you. Okay. Hey, David, how come more independent agents, hey, Brian, what's going on, don't sell commercial insurance? That's a great question. I just don't know. It just doesn't have the same, really recruiting capacity and hierarchy like a life business does. I would think commercial is extremely lucrative, but it's just not as readily available. Like if you go search on Google and look at keyword search volume for commercial insurance sales, like there's barely any at all. But I've run across commercial guys that make a killing in the business. And I've just never really run into a commercial agent. But I know they're out there. They exist somewhere. But, I think part of the reason we see so many agents in life insurance is because it's based off of a multi-level marketing type of culture. Probably is because of the culture. It's a mass recruitment type of strategy for the vast majority of organizations that are out there. So I think that kind of just plays to that, hey, get involved in this business. It's great, blah, blah, blah. So there's naturally going to be more interest in that. And plus, it's a mass market product. There's millions. Every single person's a possible life insurance prospect. So not so much for commercial, right? So that's probably part of it. Good question. Hey, Bob, what's going on? All right. I'm about to be, hey, Kevin, a contract with UHC, Aetna, and Humana for Medicare. Do you recommend anyone else that offers good plans? Like, Kevin, it depends on what you got in your market. I'm not familiar with the Chattanooga market. I live here, but I don't know the Medicare plans. I'm not that old, despite what that comment said to me. I'm not that old. What you want to do is get on Plan Finder and look at the major players with zero premium plans. Those are probably a good place to start. If you're in Chattanooga, if you can get Blue Cross Blue Shield, I think they're pretty popular. They got name brand recognition. You know they're here in town. So maybe look at that. But I would look at the Plan Finder for sure, All right. Hey, Doug, what's going on? Hey, Kevin. Hey, T. Lewis, Muhammad. Hey, JC, new agent here. Would you recommend that I learn about different insurance products before I start prospecting and becoming familiar with the software? I would recommend that you pick one product and get good at learning how to sell it. Now, learning how to sell it and then the software to help facilitate the process are two different skill sets. I actually think, believe it or not, that the whole CRM and all this tech stuff is overblown. It's overrated. You can't cover up a lack of salesmanship skill with tech. Okay, you have to develop that skill set, and that's the most important skill set to develop. I think especially for face-to-face, arguably not so much for telesales. It kind of depends on the situation. You don't have to have a CRM to start. In fact, I think if you make learning one of these complex CRMs requirement before you sell, you're going to shortchange yourself. What sales policies is you. It's connection you make. It's the value you deliver. It's connecting what the client's needs and fears are with the solution your product offers. And that doesn't involve technology or CRM or a dialer. It involves you talking to a person and really getting into them and figuring out what it is that they want to accomplish. So that's what I would recommend first and foremost. And then along the way, pick up a CRM. But for most people, it's not like you can't do the business without it. That's what I'm trying to say. Hey, Lyndon Johnson. You got it, Kevin. Yeah, look, Primerica's not a bad company. Don't throw eggs at me out there, to be honest, guys. I mean, seriously, they're a good company that serves people, and they help people get insurance that otherwise wouldn't. That's kind of the silver lining to any one of these organizations people allege are, multi-level marketing or mass recruitment, is they otherwise get insurance on people that maybe never would have had an agent come up to them and solicit them. So I think it's good. I think on the whole it's good. Obviously, I have problems with organizations that focus more on mass recruitment than developing you as the agent, right? Because if you're not developed as an agent, you're not going to be able to help people. And that's a big problem that's systemic with most of these massive organizations, is they don't have the capacity to train as well as they say they do when it comes to actually selling it. Their real game is to get you to recruit all your friends and family and duplicate getting your friends and family, that somebody somewhere will sell something, and if you recruit enough people, it'll take care of itself. And it does work for the people at the top of the food chain. But for the entry-level agent with no direction on how to sell, that's the problem, So that's why I don't like a lot of those organizations, because my experience and my perception is they just don't have the training capacity to keep people going and successful. And that's a problem. That's why a lot of people fail this business. He called you a burro. I don't know what that means. I know what a burrito is. I'm hungry. I have been in the business maybe 6 months, and there are a few companies that I never heard good about, and Primerica is one. It's fun. Actually, I got a cool story here. So I was out running direct mail leads selling final expense in a little part of town called East Brainerd, right? It's part of Hamilton County in Chattanooga. And I got this card back, and I rolled up into this neighborhood, and there's this big mansion on a hill, and it looked like it was shut down. It was really weird. And I kept going, and I went down further, and I found a nice house, a couple nice houses. And I found the gentleman and knocked on his door. He answered the door. He had a Boca Raton shirt on, like logo. He looked like he was tan, like guy in his 60s, something like that. And we started talking. And for the love of me, I can't remember the guy's name. But apparently this dude was one of the early regional vice presidents, RVPs, I think is the term, at A.L. Williams. So he was a direct agent to Art, A.L. Williams. And really was at the forefront of the whole A.L. Williams buy term and invest the difference, which then morphed into Primerica. And I didn't even know it at the time. I went home and I was like, where did I read about this guy? Or who do I know this guy from? Started doing research. I was like, oh, okay. And then I bought A.L. Williams' book called Coach, which whatever you think about Primerica or buy term and invest difference, it's a great rags to riches story. It's a wonderful book, and it teaches you a lot about selling successfully, recruiting a team. There's a lot of value in it, despite what your question is about, the company per se. But I found the guy's name in the book as being an RVP. So it's cool. It didn't even dawn on me when I talked to him. I didn't get in the door. I didn't present to him, unfortunately. Kind of chased me off. But I wish I was a little more persistent and recognized who I was talking to. So it's kind of cool. Small world. All right. Yeah, Brian, it's okay. Trying to bring you down. It's normal. I mean, look, I don't mind being corrected on mistakes that I make, and we should all be open-minded to bettering ourselves. And, I'm certainly not perfect, far from it. But if you got a character assassinate or character attack, that means your arguments doesn't work, right? If you got to resort to that. Selling health insurance and looking to get in the life game soon. Cool. Yeah, check out what we got. davidford.com/FAQ to learn more about how my agency works. If I miss any of your questions, guys, let me know. I'm just scanning down the list here. Hey, Mary Beth. How you doing? Usha. I know who Usha is. Yeah, I'm still going through a lot of these. Okay. Thank you, Coca-Cola. I was with the Prime America for 6 years. I could tell stories. How is being an independent insurance agent a scam? I kind of wondered that too. It's like, see, I don't want to propose or suppose, but I guess I will. The thing that you're going to have, and this isn't indicating any particular agency, but I did a great video with Kyle Studer. I recommend you all put this in after this live stream's over. Put in David Ford, Kyle Studer. It's about an hour and a half. We talk about kind of the cult psychology that comes along with a lot of these insurance MLMs. And one of the things that they teach you, or one of the things they're purposely trying to do, is shutting down your exit points to where you may get more information about a particular business model or strategy or et cetera. They literally want to keep you fenced in to how they look at this business, okay? They do not want you asking questions. They do not want you saying, hey, what about this term insurance? What about these other products? What about this? A person who's asking too many questions, you'll find with a lot of these, is they start to get turned off. They start to get mad. They start to get angry. They just want you to do what they say blindly like a sheep without ever considering any alternatives. And that works for some people, okay? That does. But for the thinking person who wonders why things the way they are, it becomes clear that there's purposeful psychological brainwashing that's going on in a lot of these organizations. And anyways, that video I did with Kyle, highly recommend you look at it. It's about, I don't know, 8 to 12 months old, but it's fantastic. And Kyle does a lot of videos. You can check out his YouTube channel on the kind of the cult psychology of a lot of these insurance MLMs. And I mean, it is intentful, it's purposeful, and you got to watch out, man. All right. No, don't get lost. We need you. Let the haters continue with their MLM cult and learn the hard way. You're reminding me of Apollo reading the mail. I don't know who Apollo is. You have to remind me. I'm not that old, John. Please give me your insight on PPG owned by Steve Rohr. Is James Campbell not there anymore? I just noticed a video from PPG. I didn't know they were making videos. I know James Campbell, I thought, owned PPG or had some major role. He's a great guy. I've worked with him for many years. I don't now, but used to in the past. We all kind of know each other at some level once you're in this business long enough. And no, I don't see any problem with them. They're a telesales organization that's been doing it for a while. They're tied to North Star, which does a great job in a captive way, in a call center type strategy. So the bottom line that you can do, and this is just general advice for any agency, interview them, ask them questions, see how they respond. A lot of what you're going to learn is based on how they're responding to you, okay? And if they're not like wigging out because of what you're asking and they're not getting mad, then and if they're calm and compassionate and they want to be transparent, you're going to sense that these are honest, trustworthy people. If you get a bad vibe, trust your gut. Always trust your gut. It means it usually is right. So yeah, but PPG, great company. If you feel right there, go for it, man. That's what I would say. Please give me your okay. Old, yeah, that did hurt, Joyce. That was the worst out of all of it. You need to make a monthly video like celebrities read mean tweets. I might start doing that, Kevin. I might start doing that if I get more hate mail. So what I'm thinking here is that by doing this video, it's going to spawn on more of it. And then it'll be great show prep so that when I get on here, I can make you guys laugh and see how stupid these people are. Have a good laugh and then learn something. So that's what I think, at least. We'll see. Lyndon, I can see why that comment about being old agent. Yeah, that was the worst. Hey, Lev, I'm an actuary. Oh, cool. And looking potentially to move into sales. What's your advice into breaking into the sales game? Yeah, so bottom line, if you're looking into insurance sales, Lev, I would suggest, first of all, do your due diligence. That means look at the different products that are out there. Where do you find you have an attraction or affinity towards? Do you like life insurance, final expense, Medicare, all sorts of options, right? Figure out what it is that is your calling, if you will. Because at the end of the day, sales is a tough game. We all know that, right? We wake up unemployed every morning. There's no guarantee you're going to make another sale because you're straight commission, right? You're going to be in a stressful environment no matter what you're selling. You might as well sell something you believe in and feel strong about. The next thing, like we've talked about already, is make sure that you find a good agency to join, okay? In my preference is join an agency that's going to train you to sell successfully and will support you. I prefer independent agencies over captive agencies where you have multiple products versus one. That's going to be more significant in some organizations and some niches than others. Like final expense, I couldn't imagine selling one product. No matter what the company is, if I had just one product, I know half the time my company's either overpriced or inadequate in coverage, and I'm at risk for replacement. So decide kind of how you want to go there. And then once you've decided what you want, you found a great agency you have a good affiliation with, a great product that you like to do, go all in. And remember that this is a numbers game. This is a game of numbers. This isn't, as much as you'd like to think of it, you do need to have technical know-how and competence. But more important than that is making sure you see the people, enough people. In our business of insurance sales, 15 presentations a week is the gold standard to work for on a full-time basis, completed appointments. If you guys are doing less than that and you think you have sales problems, you actually have prospecting problems. A lot of those sales problems will resolve themselves once you hit 15 appointments every single week. I've seen it happen more often than not. So that kind of combination there is what I would recommend. Do you think there's a need for a skill set I possess, and can you think of potential opportunities that would be a good fit? And as an actuary, selling, I mean, you have this, I don't know. Really, I don't know. What do actuaries do? I mean, you're number crunchers. You kind of look at the probabilities and risk factors to different insurance products, right? I don't think it's probably not that much of a crossover, really, because now you're moving out of the world of projecting the risk of an insurance product with its potential reward with, now you've got to create a relationship with people, right? You've got to connect with them, gain their trust, show how your product's better than the alternative, and then you have the ability to ask for commitment today. So it's kind of a completely different skill set. Even though we're insurance, yeah, but is there a crossover? Not so much. I'm getting to the questions, guys. Bear with me. Maybe. Okay. What should a new agent expect in the first month or so? You should be making money in your first or second month. Okay. If you're selling anything like final expense, Medicare, any kind of one-call close product, mortgage protection will be another. You should be profitable somewhere between months 1 and month 2. You certainly should be making sales in your first month. If you're not making sales in your first couple of weeks, it's probably not a right business for you. If you're running appointments, you're earnestly trying, you're being consistent in getting in front of prospects, you've learned the system. If you're not making sales, then I would say, maybe this isn't right for you. Now, if you're in a position where you're, not going all in, well, that's a different problem you got to get over. But you should know within your first month or two if the product you're starting with really is right for you. If not sooner, okay? And you should know within 1 to 2 months if this is going to be your product. I knew final expense was my thing 2 weeks in. All my top producers that have worked with me for years knew final expense was their thing right away. Likewise, people who weren't making sales in the first 2 to 3 weeks, they're gone now, right? So you should know that this is right or wrong for you. All right. Hey, Linda, are tons of no's normal? Am I an alien? Where do you find people that actually want an awesome career? No's in recruiting? I mean, any kind of prospecting opportunity, recruiting to a business opportunity, or finding prospects to sell to. The paradox of this business is your most successful agent who makes the most money, the most sales, likely hears no more than they hear yes. And that will never change for the vast majority of agents, especially on like a lead generation system. You are living in this kind of paradigm where you hear no 2 to 3 times as much as you hear yes. That means the person who's very successful on a lead system is getting rejected more than you are. But they're still successful because the yeses, the value of the yeses, are exponentially more valuable than the value of the no's. Okay? Just accept it. That's just the way it is. Very few people want to talk to us. They don't want to sit down and talk about insurance. They don't want to listen to what you have to offer, okay? You just have to keep calling. This is why we say you got to have enough leads. The best problem to have is too many leads to see. The worst problem to have is too few leads to see. So I want you to have the biggest problem. You need to see a lot of people. You need to have a lot of leads. You need to have a lot of prospects, because if you got enough inputs, you can find enough outputs in the form of presentations that all those no's won't matter, because you've got enough activity that we know have a higher chance of converting if they're going to sit down with you or do it over the phone, whatever. Sam. Hey, Sam. Can a prospective agent working for you sell comparable, better products, better potential products than with Omaha and Northwestern Mutual? Oh, you're in Chattanooga. Yeah. It just depends on the product, right? I mean, I don't really know much about Northwestern Mutual or Omaha's like captive products, if that's what you're referring to, like their whole life dividend paying products. I don't know. That's not my side of the business. I'm just a burial insurance peddler, And if you look at it in that way, sure, yeah, there's plenty of better options than those, I would say. At some point, I will say this isn't a product sale business, okay? Products matter, but what matters more than that is, can you get to the root of the problem the client is having, and can you show how your product can most effectively solve it? That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have the best company. I think you should have good companies to choose from. I think it's especially more beneficial in final expense because our clients will replace you over a $10 difference in many cases. But companies matter to a certain point. Then beyond that, as always, it comes back to what's your capability to get in front of A, enough people, and B, to persuade them. And that's where it really matters. Agreed, Bruce. Currently, your local realist. My adjuster license is with my employer's licensing office. When I go to Circon, it doesn't let me change my address. Should I just wait till I leave? I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't really help with that. My adjuster's license is my employer's licensing office. When I go to Circon, it doesn't let me change my address. Applying for my lifestyle. Yeah, you can just change it later. I think you can submit a change after your license. That's probably the way to do it. Hey, Linda. Greg Cap. Don't know who that is. Hey, Shafir. Please don't listen to these uninformed trolls. Oh, I'm not. I don't really care what they're saying. It just turns out it's great material to laugh at, so it actually serves a purpose. Try to find the good and the bad, right? I was just actually thinking about that. I had an agent last year and like a half ago who was absolutely psycho. This agent wanted to spend an inordinate amount of time on the phone coaching, which was okay to an extent. At some point, you got to, pull the trigger and actually sell some insurance or try to. Well, this agent spent, and this is when I had a lot more patience. This agent spent 5 or 6 months, literally, aggressively getting ready to sell. And after about at the 6-month mark, I said, no more of these calls until you sell something because you're not taking anything I'm teaching you and doing anything with it. And she got mad and she quit. What's the moral of the story? The moral of the story, what I decided was, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should be doing more training. At that time, I was at most doing an hour of training live a week on Zoom. And so I decided at that point, man, I need to up my game on training. So I went to 6 hours in 2020 a week of training, which last year was my best year in income that I've ever had, period, even with all that's gone on with the economy. And then because it worked, or I at least blame some of my success on the training side of the business, I decided, hey, let's triple down, or at least close to triple down on the sales training. And now we're doing 14 hours live on Zoom with me, Monday through Friday, of different sales training topics and carrier training. Because it works. More prepared people who are more competent will sell more insurance and have a higher success rate. I've witnessed it firsthand. So you see, you can take things that are bad in your life and find some good in them. You just have to think about it. And there's a lot of opportunities from bad circumstances. So thank you out there. You know who you are. You did help me in more ways than I ever thought you could. Okay. Muhammad, a wise man once said, when they stop talking about you, then it's time to be concerned, right? Correct. On a lower budget starting out, what's the best direct mail to start with? What's your budget, Faith Temple Church? I wouldn't do direct mail. I would do part-time direct mail if I could do 500 a week, but any less than that, not so much. Maybe we do Facebook leads instead. You really need about 600 to 700 for direct mail a week, somewhere in that neighborhood. So any less than 500, you could do part-time with 500, but any less than that, do something else. Facebook leads, aged leads, possibly. I'm learning about this business as an independent through an IMO. Okay, cool, Joyce. In addition to new agents buying leads, do agents develop by their own website? Absolutely not. Well, you could develop a website, but how useful it will be, it depends on your niche. If I was doing final expense, which I do, and I recruit agents to it, we do not get into the web development game. You're not going to generate leads on it. Nobody's ever going to look at the website if you sell final expense or Medicare Advantage. The more sophisticated the client, like med sups, maybe, annuities, maybe, but probably not even. It's not as big of a deal as you would make it inside the world of a paid lead strategy, working the kind of market that we work. It's probably more important if you're working a more sophisticated market where personal branding is going to make a difference and to differentiate you from the competition. But if you're selling the stuff that I sell, there's no reason to have a website or to worry about, do I need to have one before I sell, or does it make much of a difference? Good question. Hey, Shafir, many of these trolls are mad at you actually telling the uninformed agent about the honest truth about these horrible companies. All they do is take in agents and they don't know who hurt them. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree. You set the bar on so many levels. Thank you. Yeah, don't listen to haters. I tried watching YouTube. I could on YouTube, everything I can. And you and Justin Brock could learn from. It was great. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah. See this Duggard story you did too. Yeah, I don't know what that is. How do you like the new Forrester's Accidental? Do you lean RNA Jet whole life or Forrester's Advantage for participating whole life? Hey, James. Yeah, I don't do any of that stuff. And for no other reason than what you're going to find from me is that I'm a specialist, okay? Where my strength and forte is in a very narrow field. I liken myself to a cardiac surgeon. The cardiac surgeon is a genius when it comes to heart surgeries. He knows nothing about the lungs next door or the liver down south, right? Because he's a specialist. That's how I am in the final expense arena. And somewhat in Medicare, but mostly final expense. I know final expense like the back of my hand, left, right, up, and down. I don't know much about anything else. I'm a complete idiot. I'll say I'm idiot. I'm just ignorant. Ignorant is the right word. So I can't really speak to those products because my market doesn't need a participating whole life plan. They just don't. The situation they're in financially and their health-wise, they can't qualify for it. It's not really solving their problems. Probably couldn't afford it. They mostly need final expense. So I don't know. I've heard people like the Forrester's plans. I think what you're talking about. I've heard some good stuff from agents that I know of that kind of do that business. But for me, I'm a bad person to ask because I just don't do it. Hello, David. Hey, Queen Gina. Got your emails. Do any of the agents in your organization also partner with other NMO organizations? Yeah, sometimes I do. It just depends. I mean, what I try to do is it depends on the agent. If it makes sense, any training support, going to need all your business, right? I'm not doing this pro bono. But there are circumstances where an agent may have one carrier here and one carrier with me because there's some setup that they've got. It just depends. What I would do is ultimately if you find what I do is a good fit, but you're wondering that and you want to have a private conversation with me, that's the next logical step is let's talk, see kind of where we stand, and then I'll tell you straight up if it makes sense or not. Hey, Dave, what do you think about selling for assurance? Free leads but low commissions. Sure. I think, Matt, if you're going to do assurance, then that's a good fit if you can't invest or don't have the money to invest in leads. That's the big thing. You'll learn the business. You'll get leads. It's a great place to kind of get a strategy in place. Personally, for me, if your aspiration is to run a business, to own your book of business, to maximize your commission, it may not be the best to go, right? It's like the difference between, I don't know, managing a restaurant and owning a restaurant, right? There's different requirements responsibility-wise, and it's likely the owner has the potential to make more than the manager, right? So it's an employee versus ownership. I opt for ownership all the time. Jeffrey, what online lead vendors do you recommend? I like for telesales, Happy Agent Leads or Tips, Tricks, and Closers. Look at their statewide leads for final expense. For face-to-face, I like Game Time Leads. Also, Happy Agent Leads and Tips, Tricks, and Closers are okay. There's a ton of Facebook leads out there, guys. There's more than we'll ever actually test. And they change all the time. Those have been around for a while, especially Game Time. I like Game Time most. So I would look there to start. I've been in an MLM. It sucks. Great job presenting to those who listen. Yeah, do what I can, Michael. David, PPG, they are offering me 115% commission, pay $200 tech fee. Yeah, there's a $200 tech fee monthly, right? And buy live transfer leads at only $28 a lead. But there are free B leads that we can work to death for free. Yeah, it might be a good fit for you. You do have to pay the $200 like desk fee a month. They do charge you to work with them. The live transfers, I don't know exactly what the I don't think they're TV leads. They might be. They're probably telemarketed live transfers, which I would argue are way different in quality. And yeah, otherwise, not necessarily a bad place to go. Kevin, do you think old Biden, crazy Biden, admin will actually drop Medicare to age 60? I don't know. They always say they're going to do something and then it changes. Remember how we were supposed to get $2,000 checks? What does that change? $1,400? I don't know. I don't know what to do about these people. Trust what they say. I don't know, man. I'm just in it for the ride day to day. Whatever goes, goes. Now, I would say this, Kevin. If they drop it to 60, that's more prospects. Might be good. The one reservation I have with Medicare is what's going to happen in the next 10 to 20 years. I think there's enough of a groundswell, certainly on the Democratic side of the aisle, and more so, I think, on the Republican side of the aisle, too, for some type of, socialized health care, more so than it is now. I don't know how that's going to affect Medicare. You hear, I think, what Bernie said, Medicare for all, right? That's been floated around. Elimination of private companies. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. And it's hard, I think, with the way politics are going, that's most likely going to happen in the next 10 to 20 years. How is that going to affect us? I don't know. So I don't have a good answer of, well, what do we do then? My strategy now is just to milk it all for I can while we can. And then whatever comes, and pivot at that point. The nice thing is, whatever you do in this business, you're going to develop a skill set that you got to be ready to transition. This is true in this economy more now than ever. You got to be like Madonna. Y'all know who Madonna is? Some of you people under 30 might not know. She always changed with the times, right? Just try to stay relevant. We expect that to happen in the insurance business. The nice thing, I think, with something like final expense, it's not a political third rail. It's backed by Social Security. People get their checks. That's not going to change unless we, fall apart as a country. And it's not a political issue like Medicare is and health insurance. And the trends behind it are 20 plus years. The average insurance agent's 59. So you new guys coming into this, your competition's retiring in masses in the next 5 to 10 years. So there are markets where there's going to be great opportunity. But for me, the Medicare does, long haul, 10, 20 years from now, does worry me. But right now it doesn't. I think we got plenty of juice to squeeze out of this one. All right. How much can I expect to spend on quality leads? Hey, Zachariah, thanks for being here, man. If you do final expense, $500 to $600 a week is a good starting point. You can do a little less, you can do a little more. Same for Medicare. That's if you're full-time. If you're part-time with me, if you get age leads, $250 a week. Fresh leads, $400 is kind of the part-time goal. Hey, Corey, 10% commission per sale for me. Is this typical? What product are you selling, Corey? Clarify, and then I'll tell you if it's typical or not. Hey, McCoy. Dave, could you talk a bit about live transfers and how those are going? What the average price per lead to expect, and if this is the majority of future business, et cetera? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I love our live transfers. Of course I love our live transfers, right? It's because I sell them to you and you join my agency to work them, right? Of course. So I'm a little biased here, right? We do TV leads. So imagine Mildred. She's sitting around in her easy chair. She's watching, her rerun of Gunsmoke. And this commercial comes on. Some of you may have seen it. There's a granny that's laid up in a hospital bed. She's got oxygen hooked up to her nose. She's got her daughter on the right of her and then the doc on the left of her. And she just can't wait to tell her daughter and her doctor how she's got affordable final expense life insurance. So when she does kick the bucket and the oxygen stops feeding to her brain, her daughter's protected and has peace of mind. That's basically our commercial. And it works really well. It's been modeled after other commercials. There's a lot. If you kind of do some research, you'll see a lot of similar ones. And so what happens is they call that 800 number. They've seen this commercial or a variant of it a ton of times. So they call the number, And when they dial in, they talk to you directly. There's nobody screening the call or filtering out certain ones. They talk to you. They are calling you. And a lot of them are very interested and want to buy. So much so that our average close rate is 23.8% as of January. So 1 out of 4 roughly close into a sale of transfers that you get. The average case size is 1,070. So on a commission basis, maybe around $1,000 in first-year commission, which is great. And that's average for the TV leads. That's better than the entire industry average, like when you look at face-to-face or other lead sources. I had an agent yesterday write $5,000 in premium off of one transfer. It was a mom and a son. Huge cases. So for whatever reason, the quality of this business, as far as the amount that they're going to buy, is just blows everything out of the water I've seen. And I think, like what Michael and Bill talked about the other day, there's just a different experience working a TV lead. You're not grinding it out on the phone, calling telemarketed leads or Facebook leads. You're taking inbound calls, waiting for them to call you, which in a sense kind of gives you this leverage you don't get with outbound calls. And the experience is better. You don't have to begrudgingly grind it out on the phone and prospect and get no's all the time. You just hear people who are interested. And if you're good, the opportunity is fantastic. So, and both of those guys, Bill and Michael, had a 50% close rate on the transfer. So they were much better than the average, of course. 1 out of 2 were closing. So we've got plenty of opportunity. If you guys are interested in this, reach out to me, davidduford.com/contact to learn more. I'll send you some information to review. We love them. It's a big push for me and anybody that wants to do telesales. As I've seen the power of these leads, I want more of my agents doing them. The check is in the mail, McCoy. John, each no gets to the yes, but it could burn out that day. Yeah. B&I is great for a new agent too. It helps with referrals and building your pipeline. Yeah. B&I is good. I think if you're in the like P&C business or just like a life business, like general, like middle market, still working type of life business, I think that would be great. Maybe B&I is okay. I don't know about final expense. Maybe for Medicare is okay. Hey, Doug, is it better to purchase my fixed cost DM3 leads through you or from the vendor? Well, I don't sell direct mail, so we use Need a Lead or Lead Concepts. So, Doug, remind me where you live. I can give you a suggestion on which of the two to use, but those would be one of the two we'd use. Gosh, a lot of questions here. I'm getting to them, guys. Hang with me. Do you think that worrying about what lead company you use for Medicare Advantage upsells is a waste of time if it's holding you back? No. You need to have confidence. Now, there's no lead program that's going to eliminate the no's, right? That's normal. But you need to make sure the lead company you're working with has been proven to work. For example, in my Medicare sales and marketing program, we have an internal lead vendor for direct mail and Facebook, and we can get you referrals from agents in our organization and say, yes, we've used the leads. Yes, we love them. They're fantastic. That's the kind of thing you want to look for. I wouldn't be jumping into a lead program blind without saying, hey, can I talk to a couple of agents just to make sure it works well and kind of get their feedback? And any decent organization is going to say, sure, that's no problem. They shouldn't get offended and curse at you and all that stuff. That's a good sign that they're not serious about their business and there's some problems with them that they're not being honest about. Hey, Kenneth, there's nothing to think about except your beneficiary, and that's why I'm here. Yeah, absolutely. Psychos are the best. Yeah, Kyle knows. Oh, boy. David offers valuable specific carrier training to educate his agents how to represent various carriers for the benefit of each prospective client. Thank you, JF. Hey, Rock, what's going on? Joyce, do you think Anthony Martin's Choice Mutual model marketing insurance of the future life insurance sales? Might it negatively impact independent agents? You want me to tell you about a little hint here, guys? The organic search engine business of trying to rank your pages and your website is over. It's over. Would you like me to explain why? It's kind of interesting. Have you guys noticed in the news all this like talk about fake news and issues with who's going to be allowed to report on news, and it's an actually interesting type of, if you put politics aside, it's kind of an interesting thing to discuss. I'm not going to get into the news stuff, but it bleeds over into our business. You see, I've thought a lot about this. Google and Facebook are like, they're the arbiters of communication. And there's like an oligopoly of some sorts. They control 90% of the communication. It's potentially dangerous. And in their mind, this is what I'm thinking. A lot of this restriction on alternative media and who is the arbiter of truth, who gets to say what's going on, I think that they're doing this because if they lose control of that, it potentially damages their business model tremendously. And where this crosses into, and why I'm even mentioning this, is that I think a lot of this push that these social media platforms are doing is they're deciding arbitrarily on their behalf, potentially dangerous, who should be trusted and who shouldn't. And that's the inverse. When they make a decision on which news sources are going to be trusted, that's their decision, not the people's, right? But that also bleeds into realms like in personal finance, like life insurance. And life insurance search terms are under the same kind of auspices when it comes to who has the authority to speak to what is right and what is important. And what all of this has transitioned into now is that Google, if you try to rank a web page in Google for life insurance search terms, if you're a new player, you're a small player, you're like you or me or even Anthony Martin, you're getting arbitrarily lowered in your rankings relative to an Investopedia, a NerdWallet. These are venture capital backed, 9-figure value companies that have the arbitrary blessing from Google to rank, even though their content is nothing nearly as good as Anthony Martin's, okay? Anthony is a genius. I respect him more than anybody, and I think he's one of the few other people that actually has a work ethic way bigger than mine. So I always love to talk to the guy, and I really think highly of him, as you can tell. And if you look at his volume, and a lot of other of these small-time players, they and I've seen this too in my little website I got too that ranks for a few search terms. We've lost like 40, 50, even 60% of our traffic. Our content's better than these big companies. What we do to help our clients is better, but Google does not care. What Google cares about is deciding who is more trustworthy when it comes to this kind of content. A little guy in his spare bedroom in Tennessee, or Investopedia, NerdWallet, the Motley News people, right? And so where am I going with this? I don't think we can compete with Google, who decides who gets listed and not, to this extent. And it's more and more heavily weighted towards these more trustworthy websites. And unfortunately, we're just in a business that is affected by this. Personal finance is huge, and Google doesn't want to screw it up and rank somebody who's just not supposed to be trusted. Does that make sense? So anyways, not really relevant to what we're doing. I think it's kind of fascinating and interesting that all of this stuff that's in the news is bleeding down to what we do. So in other words, don't get a website. It's a waste of money. Stick to paid leads is what I would do at this point. Don't get a website to rank is what I really mean. I think earlier they were talking about your John Duggar's interview from 2 years ago. Okay, yeah. The John Duggar interviews are good. I had to break it up into 3 because John has a penchant to talk a lot because he knows a lot and he's worth listening to. You shut up when John talks kind of thing. Those are old, but very valuable. If you ever have any time, want to listen to something on a car ride, plane trip, it'd be perfect. All right. Yeah, it's Duggar, Kenneth, not Duggard. I think that's what you mean, right? Who was NAA. The comment was in response to an early topic. You did a 2-part. Yes, gotcha. Perfect. Okay. Yep. What is the mix in your agency of face-to-face versus telesales, and how do you train them differently? So 2/3 are face-to-face, 1/3 is telesales. We have pretty much the same script. We certainly have the same, for the most part, the same carriers. But I designate days for my face-to-face agents, and I designate days for my telesales agents. Here's why. Telesales is more difficult to do than face-to-face. You cannot make as many mistakes as a face-to-face agent. You cannot cut corners on your pre-qualifying or rapport building. You've got to get deeper and deep. You've got to practice your tonality. You've got to practice your pacing. These are different skill sets to develop as a telesales agent versus face-to-face. If you just show up, follow your script pretty well, and you make good eye contact, you got good body language, it's not as hard. And plus, it's easier to read the prospect when you see them face-to-face because you get to read their body language, see what they're doing. It's a different animal than telesales. So I designate on some training days a telesales day and a face-to-face day to address that. The script pretty much the same, but you just have to overcome that just difference. There's just more resistance to a telesales call. So it does help to use TV leads, in my opinion, because the person calling you is going to be much more inclined and interested in buying. You still have to know what you're doing. Don't get me wrong. It's not a shortcut, but it does give you a little more odds of success. Yeah, we play it in Virginia, for sure. I sell final expense, Corey, med subs, dental, and cancer. 10% first year goes to 100% in year 5. Yeah, if you're getting final expense at 10%, which I don't think you would be, that's a highway robbery. Now, 10%, you're probably captive. You know, the med subs, 10% in a captive situation is probably expected. Either way, if you're in a captive situation, those are low commissions and typical. You could do a lot better, but you got to decide, am I better captive or in a brokerage? It is different. Sounds like a good commercial. I'm in. All right. Let's see here. Symmetry Financial Group's debt-free life program, which can help you get out of debt 9 years or less without spending any additional money. What's your thoughts on it? I think it's a great concept. I think we looked at something like that. I don't know if it was the same provider Symmetry uses. I turned it down. I love the concept of it, but what really pissed me off is they wanted to charge my agents like $200 a month to get trained. And I hate business models in this business that try to take your money as an agent before you actually go out and sell. It's like, I could do that. I could make an income stream as like a membership fee or a desk fee. But they're making money on you without you ever having sold anything. And I just don't like that. It rubs me the wrong way. As an agency owner, I don't want to succeed until you succeed. My definition of success is not getting a membership fee from and you not selling. My definition of success is you selling and I make an income off of the override. To me, there's a goal misalignment in that. And I just said, you know what? I like this, but I don't believe in this concept. I think it's trash and it's against my values. So I just moved on. Hey, Sal Philly. Is 35% commission a good rate for a captive agent selling? If you're getting free leads, maybe. That's pretty low if you have to pay for anything. How much are those TV leads? $58 a lead. But if you close 1 out of 4 and the average commission is $1,000 divided by 240, more than 4 to 1 return on investment. So the higher lead price, which is high, is offset by a higher average commission size. So, but you get what you pay for. Hey, Doug. Yeah, I would do lead concepts. That's what I would do. They've got very good leads out there. Is the percentage of success of agents using telesales live transfer leads higher than the percentage of success? I don't know enough yet, JF, to establish that, if that's true or not. I know the percentage of success so far of agents doing telesales TV leads is higher than, say, Facebook leads. So I will stand behind that. I think it's a different game altogether. Hey, Matt. What's up? Hey, you're awesome. Thank you. What questions would you recommend asking to sell more long-term care insurance? Oh, boy, I don't know. It's not my field. What happens if you get sick and your spouse can't take care of you? How much money would you have set aside? Do you know how much it costs to be interned in a nursing home? Do you know what the average costs are? Do you know how this can affect your retirement, how this could affect your spouse? What if she had to live in a situation where her lifestyle had to change for the worst? What if I could show you a way to come up with a plan to take care of that for a low monthly premium? Would you be interested? It's kind of where I would go with this. I would want to paint the picture. What we talk about, Matt, is to picture the hearse backed up against the front porch. I guess for when we sell life insurance, I guess for you, we'd want to picture the hospital bed backed up against the front porch, right? Or something, I don't know. We just have to paint the picture of how bad it could be and then show a solution that solves the problem. Heck with Google, I use DuckDuckGo. I went from Zoom to only Tele. It's not so hard, but I hear you. Actually better with calls, less no-shows. Best online final expense lead for new agent, TV leads. Thank you, Brave. I sell systems through U Financial with Symmetry sells a knockoff of ours. Okay. Yeah. I got it, Clay. Yeah, I've heard, yeah. That's a great system. I like the idea of it. Either way, for the client's sake, at least. Hey, Corey, I'm a career agent, free leads provided. Okay. Can buy direct mailer at discount of 57%. Cool. Hey, Kyle, conferences that would be valuable to take my agents to. 8% Nation, any others you know of? There's really especially with COVID knocking all this stuff. I would have done an agency conference this year if this stupid COVID wasn't making people think they can't leave their homes. Mine, for starters, Kyle, whenever I get around to doing one. 8%'s fine. It's kind of a motivational training, kind of networking type of event. I like Jeff Roots. I would go to that. I don't know if that's more technical on the web development side and telesale side, but I mean, I'm going to that one. But there's not many other opportunities. Maybe I should come up with one. I hate speaking in front of people, though. It's weird. I got 112 people on my call right now. I'm not the least bit nervous, but you put me in front of like 20 people, I stay up at night. Like that's terrible. It's a terrible idea in my mind. It's just so weird, so stupid. But it is what it is. So beyond that, maybe I should do more live trainings like this, conferences. I don't know. Hey, Corey, sell with Physicians Mutual, Security National. Sorry, what was the company name for your TV leads? They run through us, William. You've got to work in my agency to get them. And we use a gentleman called Barry. He's the broker for them. He'll tell you more about them if you decide to join. Are you active in California? Sure am. Active anywhere in this United States of America. I recruit nationally. So I've got agents everywhere. So no matter where you're at, you want to think about joining the old agency with yours truly, we can do it. Was only able to get here now. Hope this will be replayed later so you can see its entirety. Then watch comments from the haters to start off. It was fun. You should do a conference in Chattanooga. Yeah. Can we find your sales script online? If you join my agency, you can find it. I've got a Telesales one that's for free. If you guys want it, I'll send it to you. It's not up to date. It's not the current one I'm using, but it's good enough. It's close enough. Shoot me a message and this is for anybody, daviddufour.com/contact. I'll send it over to you. I have Justin Brock's Medicare Mastermind. Yeah, that one's this Friday, I think. I was going to go, but I'm not going. It's over in Memphis. Maybe I'll go. I don't know. I got to leave the house. I'm an introvert. VIP, hey Dave, do you also train agents for selling annuities? Oh, you got to ask me these tough questions right before I go, man. If so, do you have a specialist? Man, dude, if I am like killing myself. I want to do annuities so bad. We're missing the boat on annuities. There's so many people interested in selling annuities, but I can't find a trainer that will train to the extent that I do and has field experience to develop a team. There is so much opportunity in annuity sales, and I don't have anybody to help me with it. I've got the lead program, got a direct mail lead program. If I just had somebody to train and coach these guys, it would just be fantastic. So that's what I am missing. All right, guys. One last thing here. I'm going to show you something. Don't be alarmed. I got to go do something important. Some of you guys will recognize what this is. It's not Superman. Right there, baby. I'm out of here. I got to go get probably choked out, armbarred, abused tonight. Today is no-gi night where I suck. So, but that's the way you get better, is you get spanked again and again and again. So, about to wrap this up. And I will let you guys go. Thank you guys for being here. Nope. Check out, if you're worried about my agency, if you're wondering about my agency, go to daviddufour.com/FAQ, and then I will help you out. I don't know anything about Gallagher except they're in the group benefits market. They're like a big corporate name in the business. They do a good job. Sounds like it. Please don't leave. Wait, no. I got to go to jiu-jitsu. What can I say, man? Priorities. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Thanks, guys. I'll be back next month with one of these. Hope you enjoyed it. If you guys got any questions, shoot me a message, daviddufour.com/contact, all right?